Welcome to the LynnSanity podcast with Caleb Lynn, a part of the Running Hook Podcast Network.
Hello, and welcome to another edition of the LynnSanity podcast, part of the Running Hook Podcast Network. And Bryce Shadday, this is week 15 and has concluded. We're here at 11:19 p.m. Eastern Time giving you this podcast. Bryce, at midnight, it will be Tuesday, and there's NBA on Tuesday.
Yeah, there is.
3 days. Hey, 3 days. 3 days of football. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. We get 4 in a row. Think about that for a second. We are looking at a big week, but we got to talk about this one before we get into next week, right? Come on.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So this was a good week overall. A lot of change, a lot of interesting surprises, I would say, Bryce, that came out of this week. Plenty from teams you didn't expect and teams that, you typically would see win, came out and win. But just like all the time, we're going to start off talking about the Indianapolis Colts coming out and defeating the Houston Texans 27-20. And Bryce, I'll let you elaborate first here. What's your takes on the Colts win?
Well, I mean, Caleb, we were talking about it, myself and yourself and Zach Griffith, we were talking about the Colts just came out and flat out, he came out with a fire, right? They go up 14-0, and then the tide kind of turned a little bit, goes into half at 14-10, I believe, 14-10. Yeah. It came down to the wire, and you know what? The Texans lost the exact same way they did the first time, of fumble near the goal line. This time, our now Pro Bowler, Darius Leonard, linebacker, knocks the ball out from Kiki Kuti. The ball flies into the end zone. In fact, I think Kenny Moore made even more of an amazing play, diving on the ball and getting it away from Akins in the end zone. So that way they don't tie the ball game, and Bobby Okereke just happens to fall on it, and that's the game. But Caleb, Phil Rivers, no turnovers again this week. No turnovers. In fact, his last 6 games, 14 touchdowns and only 2 interceptions. He's playing outstanding football right now, Caleb Lynn. Just outstanding.
Yeah, he is. Yes. No, there's no other way to look at it. He is playing good football, Bryce. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. There's nothing to critique. This guy is simply balling, right? There's no other way to look at it. He's fixed what my main criticism with Phillip Rivers, as you know, has been the turnovers, rightfully so. And the guy's not turning the ball over. He's making good decisions right now. And it just seems as if, Bryce, this team has a collective flow. And they're finally getting it back in the running game, something that the Colts pride themselves on. Jonathan Taylor is just picking up steam. The 83 yards, it was 83 yards, but Bryce, the 83 were just powerful. They were just
hard earned.
The trenches were the trenches, man. They were just all
shout out Zach Griffith. Shout out Zach Griffith. Caleb, the touchdown that Taylor scored, he dragged that guy at least 5 yards into the end zone.
Yeah, exactly.
At least.
Yeah, exactly.
And what can you say about the defense? They had 5 sacks. Our Pro Bowl snub, Caleb, I don't understand. This is a conversation for another day, but I don't understand it. DeForest Buckner had 3 sacks in this game. And he is arguably the second best defensive player in the league.
Right. Yeah, this season.
And he is not a Pro Bowler. Yeah. Caleb, that's a flat out joke.
It is
a flat out joke.
I agree.
He had 3 sacks.
Yeah.
As an interior defensive line. Not a defensive end, Caleb Lynn.
Sure.
An interior lineman. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. No, it's ridiculous. And the Colts they took this. They really took it over. Credit to where credit's due. They coached their tails off. They adjusted and competed. They did get off to that hot start. But Bryce, to come out and make it a little bit more different than our typical Colts talk, I think the thing with the Colts that really intrigues me, and I'm very curious, and honestly, this is a bigger picture thing that I'm about to get into, and then we'll talk about it from Houston's perspective. Zach Pascal. I mean, don't get me wrong. He played well. Mm-hmm. 5 receptions, 79 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns,
Bryce, I'm not going to lie to you. Okay. I don't buy this in the long term. I don't buy it. I don't see how Bryce, this is where you and I have been harping on this all year. You have to get a difference maker at wide receiver. I'm worried about this team in the postseason when it's a 4th and 5 and you got to make a play and it's a passing play and it's a postseason and it's a win or go home. Who do you trust? I'm worried about that. It's a problem for the Colts. I understand, rightfully so, that Pascal has been coming on. But Bryce, this, with all due respect, this doesn't solve the issue. This maybe puts a Band-Aid on it. What do you see from the Colts in the past? I mean, I know Phillip has been sizzling. The running game has been efficient, but I'm still worried about receivers in separation. Because, Bryce, I'll be honest with you. You should be throwing the ball like this against Houston if you don't have the top corner, right? Your secondary is banged up. The defense is pretty much banged up.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, we kind of saw the flashes from T.Y. Hilton the past couple of weeks. This game, I mean, he was still there. But he had the one long reception of 41 yards, ended the day with 71 yards. So, I mean, he's getting a groove back. I really think you need to force the ball more to Michael Pittman. I think you just need to. I think you need to give him more targets. I really do. I mean, trust. You drafted this guy for a reason. Okay, don't try to just ease him into it. No, let's throw his way. Let's get him. You see what the Vikings are doing with Justin Jefferson. You see what the Bengals are doing with T. Higgins. Not saying like he's the same talent level, right? But just get him into the game.
Yeah,
get him in the game.
Get him in the game. Get him in the game. Right? I totally agree with you. No disputes.
Throw him some jump balls. Let's see what the kid's got. Why not?
Let's see.
And maybe not this game, but the Jacksonville game at the end of the season, I think would be a great tune-up game. Just see what he's got.
I agree. I totally agree. But the key, Bryce, is seeding because the AFC is a flat-out gauntlet, and you're going to have to figure that out. But I know what you're saying. You got to figure out a way to get him the ball, and they've got to do it a lot more than they are. This is a team that I should not be seeing Pascal consistently getting more targets, with all due respect to Zach Pascal. I shouldn't be seeing that every week. And to be honest with you, you could make the case that you shouldn't be seeing T.Y. Hilton with more targets. Because right now it seems it's possible that they're going to let him walk. And that's not ideal either, Bryce. And so I do think that's a problem. Bryce, I'll tell you, another guy I'm honestly disappointed. I'm not even disappointed in as much as I am. I just wish he was involved more because he's your second best offensive player.
Okay.
Nyheim Hines, 5 carries for 43 yards, 2 catches for 11 yards. Bryce, again, I mean, I'm looking at this long picture, okay? I'm looking at this in the long term. Is Nyheim Hines the second best offensive skilled player on the Colts?
As of right now, yeah, it seems that way.
So if you use the second best offensive skilled player on a contending football team, right, so you're doing what you can in the playbook to look to get him going. Besides, but Bryce, besides just running in between the tackles, he needs to get outside. He needs to be able to do something that uses his speed and his versatility. I think it is a total joke. Bryce, we have not talked about this near enough. They need to do more 2 running back sets. I'm sick and tired of Reich and Sirianni not being creative enough to where they're not trying to think about getting their 2 best offensive players on the freaking field. And it's a problem, Bryce. You got to get it's not – I know it's not Nyheim Hines' fault. That is play calling, and I want to make that clear. But, Bryce, surely the Colts are going to figure out a way to get a 2 running back formation in play with both of them on the field.
No, I agree. And Hines is the type of guy that you need to get him out in space, right? You give him space, you give him a matchup or a mismatch on a linebacker, like he's going to make you pay, and he's going to use his speed and his agility to get out there and get you some yards. No doubt. Yeah. I mean, and I think Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines is a great 1-2 punch. Is it among the best in the league? No, but I mean, it's decent.
Very good. It's
right?
really good.
Decent.
Yep.
So no, I think if you can find ways to get Nyheim Hines in space, he's gonna do good for you. And that's going to be big going into the playoffs. You need to be able to run the ball in the playoffs, first off, and you need big plays.
Yeah.
You have to have big plays.
Yep, you do. And that's, again, and it's just consent. I mean, my big worry is, do they have the guy that can make the big play? And that's a continuous to be determined question that I don't feel like is going to be answered. And honestly, I don't know if the answer is looking good for the Colts in that. But, the other thing, Bryce, I do think we need to talk about is in the first half, the Colts offense was slinking. No other way to put it. They were in control the entire game. And they made the game-winning play with the defense. But Bryce, this is a very hot and cold unit right now. You're not seeing the consistent dominance first through fourth quarters. With all due respect, I mean, it's not to say Deshaun Watson's a great quarterback. But I'll be honest, the stats, he shouldn't have had the game he did. I mean, he had – I understand Watson would be like an MVP if his team was better. I'm not trying to diminish that. Mm-hmm. But the stats – when you're a defense like the Colts, you can't afford to give big games like that. And I don't care who the quarterback is. Okay. Yeah. Not to mention the fact that I think David Johnson had a very sneaky game. Felt like he was everywhere. That's a very good sign. Yes. And that's a very good sign for Houston. But I also think it's a concern for the Colts because a lot of the teams that they're going to have to face, if potential in the postseason, are teams that are going to use their backfield. If by chance they play a team like Buffalo, they're not going to run. They're going to try to use their guys in the pass. If they try to face a team like Pittsburgh, I don't see Connor being the only guy. I see Benny Snell doing some things like he did today. And so I'm worried about this performance from the defense. I get they made the game-winning play, and they deserve the props for that. But I don't like the way that it really felt like everything was kind of falling apart.
Yeah, I mean, I can see the concern, but I'm going to push back on that a little bit because Deshaun Watson, yes, Deshaun Watson had a phenomenal game, right? But I mean, his average yards per catch is 8.7 in the league. This one was 9.1, so a little bit over that average. So I mean, what they do. Yeah. I mean, what Houston does in the passing game is they are looking for the deeper passing plays, right? They don't do a whole lot of small stuff. It's all big stuff, right? So I'm not too concerned about that. I mean, you had the breakdown on the Chad Hansen touchdown. It happens. What can you say? But Indy. You shouldn't let Chad Hansen get on you. Come on. Look. I'm with you, Caleb. Look, they need to tighten up the secondary. If they do that,
that's on your boy Rock, though, Bryce. You got to own it with Rock. Rock has not been what you want. Fine. Rock hasn't been as good as he should be, right? But
here you are about to say he's going to be really good again. But if they tighten up the secondary, Caleb, do you want to play the Indianapolis Colts?
No, I don't. But here's the thing, Bryce. Can I be honest? I don't even care if the secondary gets tightened up. I still don't want to play the Colts.
No, I agree.
I mean, I'm just going to be clear. I mean, do I think it should be tightened up? Sure. But I'm just saying I don't want to play them because I don't want to deal with their insane defensive line. And I don't want to deal with the trenches in the cold winter. So that's the reason I don't want to play them. But I get what you do. Next up, Bryce, we're going to flip it in. We're going to do get the sack. And Bryce, a very good friend of mine is not even a good friend of mine, but a person that I very much like in the coaching realm might be getting the sack. Who is?
Oh, Caleb. Oh, you've been going on and on about how good this team is. Oh, how so very good this team is. Oh, poor Sean McVay. Oh, Sean McVay was too smart for his own good in this game, Caleb. He lost to the Jets. Oh, how embarrassing. Oh, Oh, the Rams are so adorable. They're so cute with their Jared Goff run offense and their system quarterback. Oh, they're so cute, Caleb. This is embarrassing. This is flat out embarrassing. You lose to the winless team in the NFL. You lose to Adam Gase and Frank Gore. Oh, you lose to Ty Johnson. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? The Rams, a playoff team. You lose to the Caleb, I am very low on the Rams. I am very, very.
Oh, trust me. We know.
Oh, this only, Caleb, I'm going to say it. I told you so. I told you so.
All right. Yes. I'll defend it. Yes. I'll defend it a second.
I told you so. This is an embarrassing loss, Caleb. Sean McVay gets the sack this week.
That was a phenomenal rant. Not gonna lie, I would say I'll make my comments on this game later, but that solid candidate. I will say for mine, Bryce, this is a guy that really you like, that you were very high on, convinced me on, but I feel like he has to get it, and that's Gruden. He needs to get the sack. It's clear and obvious. Gruden in a game like this has to figure out a way to win this game. It's an absolute joke. The Chargers have been pathetic. The Lynn name is being embarrassed. And you come out, it's being embarrassed. I hate it, Bryce. I hate it so much. And they are in a situation, like, let's think about this in a bigger picture here. You came out, you lost to the Colts, right? You put it on yourself. Really, it was on you why you lost the game and your defense. Lost the game. You come out and you act like that you're just so much better than the Chargers. You play like you're so much better. You sit there and you know what? You know what he did? You know what the Chargers did? They lit him up. Herbert lit him up. And to me, that is embarrassing. Paul Guenther got fired. He actually got the sack. And that's about time. Paul Guenther's a lazy defensive coordinator. And not to mention the fact that the Raiders are just, what do you expect? This is a team, Bryce, that you and I like, and I understand that they're off and on, but they have a lot of things to like. They have a lot of things to like in the trenches. They have a lot of things to like at quarterback, but the defense has remained an inconsistency. And Bryce, I'm not going to lie. You and I have been giving them a pass on defense, and I'm not going to let it get a pass today.
No more.
Because you know why? You know why, Bryce? Let's think about this for a second. You want to know who they picked up last season? You know who they signed as their big domino who doesn't even play for them right now?
Vontez Burfict.
Corey Littleton.
Oh, Corey Littleton.
Corey Littleton was their big domino. What has he done? Nothing. LaMarcus Joyner? Nothing. He's a very solid player, but he has not given you near
maybe 3 years ago.
He's not giving you the production that you need. Jonathan Abram is flat out too much of a wild card. He's a talented player, but he's a wild card.
Oh, he's so talented.
Crosby and Farrell are both very good, but you have to get inside in interior penetration. And do you think that Jonathan Hankins is the guy that's going to give you interior penetration?
No, former Colt.
When Hankins is all right at stopping the run, but really in the passing game, it's almost useless to try to get him out there. And this is a team, and Arnett as well, who I do like, but I think he's still an issue. When you look at the Raiders, it's just a team that they have put a lot of money into this defense, and nothing is shown. Because, Bryce, I do think this is a playoff level offense. I really do. That offense deserves it. But they're not going to because the defense has choked the last 2 weeks. And that's on John Gruden, which is apparently what he's supposed to be so freaking good at.
Yeah, and they've played themselves out of a playoff spot at this point.
Yeah,
they need so much help, Caleb. I don't think they're going to make it.
I think they're done too. And going into the breakdown, Bryce, let's just clarify the games we're not doing, but we will talk about some of these teams. We're just not breaking them down game by game. We're not breaking down Buffalo smacking down the Broncos. We're not going to break down the Ravens smacking down the Jags. We're not going to break down the Cowboys and Niners, not because it was an entertaining game, just simply because, hey, not a whole lot of implications. No Packers just basically just whomped the Panthers. Lions, whomped. Detroit, whomped. And then Tampa comes back in the second half and beats Atlanta. We'll talk
what else
about them
is
in
new?
Our playoffs. But the first game we got to talk about is the Jets and Rams. And Bryce went on his tangent about McVay, so I'll start off with this one.
I don't see.
Can I make a point, please?
No, go ahead.
Okay. It's a horrible loss. It's the worst loss in recent memory. It's so bad. My stomach is like cringing. It's honestly, I want to throw up thinking about this loss. It's pathetic. I can't. It's awful. Do I think the Rams are good? Yes. But do I think that the Rams are a team that has really any shot of making a deep run in the playoffs? Heavens no. You got to close out a team like the Jets, point blank, plain and simple, let alone that it was basically at home, Bryce. They didn't have – and you know what, Bryce? You know the thing that really disappointed me is the thing that I've been rallying all season. I've been rallying around the fact that I think their defense has been significantly improved, yet you can go – shout out Dan Orlovsky in this tweet today. The 3 plays that they had today, three plays basically summarized the loss. And all of it had to do with defensive communication, all of it. And he's exactly right. They had no defensive communication, and the Rams came into this game thinking, oh, we're just so much better. We're so much more talented. And they got in their heads. And a contending team does not let that happen. Bryce, you know how much I think the Rams. I like McVay. I like the play design. I like the defense. I like Darnold. I like Ramsey. I like Woods and Kupp. I like those guys. But Bryce, you have to close a game out like this. It's a total embarrassment. And the problem with the Rams is they're sitting here like they're playing with nothing to lose. Bryce, they had a division title on the line.
Yeah, they are now in second place.
I mean, you might as well forget it. They're looking at a wild card situation, in my opinion, which is the exact opposite of what they need to be. It's a problem to me, Bryce. It's a legitimate problem.
It's a problem. They still have a chance though, Caleb, and here's why. Okay, so the Rams, they are now the 5 seed. Seattle did take the 3 seed after their win this week, which we'll get to. But guess what? Guess who plays next week? The Rams do play Seattle. The Rams won the first one. If they win the second one, they will be in the driver's seat in the division. But in that division, Arizona, Seattle, and the Rams, all their last 2 games. Each one of those teams are all divisional games, right? Seattle plays the Rams. They play San Francisco. The Rams play Seattle, and then they play Arizona. Arizona plays San Francisco, then the Rams. So this division is hot, red hot right now, Caleb. There's still a chance for the Rams to pop back into that 3 seed. And still have get a home playoff game and maybe see some success. I am not high on the Rams right now after this loss, but I do think they're going to come out with a vengeance against Seattle, and I think they might win that game.
Bryce, I'm legit. I'm panicked. I'm hitting it hard. Bryce.
Oh, no Akers.
They may not even make the playoffs.
Nah, I think they'll make the playoffs. I think that's.
Hear me out.
Okay.
Hear me out.
All right.
The problem with the Rams right now, the problem with the Rams is they're 9-5, right? Tampa's 6 at 9-5. Arizona is 8-6. The Rams are facing 2 playoff teams, right? 2 playoff teams. They're playing Seattle and they're playing Arizona. Right?
Yeah.
Kyler Murray is not hurt right now. He doesn't look hurt. He didn't look hurt this week, which we'll talk about.
He looks fine.
You play at Seattle, which you play like you did against the Jets. There's nothing
you will lose.
You will lose. And I hope they adjust, but my hope is significantly diminished. You play the Cardinals at home. The Cardinals will have something to prove, Bryce. That's a harder game. I would almost argue to you that's a harder game than the Seattle game. That's a harder game because the Cardinals aren't going to want to get out, and Seattle's already clinched. Yeah. And in my opinion, it's very possible, Bryce, that the Rams could go 0-2, put themselves in a position where they're having to hope. And that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing in itself. It sickens me. You know how much I defended the Rams, but you didn't finish them. You needed to win this game against the Jets because your last 2 were going to be so hard. You blew it. I'm bummed, Bryson. You know how much I've liked this team. You know I've liked this team all year.
I know.
Bums me out.
But it makes for great drama for the last 2 weeks of the season, doesn't it,
It
Caleb?
does. It does.
It's going to be amazing.
But you know what I'm saying, though, about the Rams, though? You know I do, because it's possible. It's very possible.
And you know what? They're missing Akers next week, which is going to be huge. I mean, yes, you have Malcolm Brown. You do have Darrell Henderson, who are very capable backs, right? But Akers has been on a hot streak, right? And and if Akers doesn't play the last 2 games, that could very well.
It is a problem.
That could very well spell trouble for them. Absolutely.
It is a problem. And I'm worried about my Rams, Bryce. I really am. Next up, Arizona and Philly, same division. Kyler Murray basically says, I'm that dude. Jalen Hurts comes in and says he's better than Carson Wentz, which I've basically known the entire year, Bryce. Let's just face the facts. So when I look at this game between Philadelphia and Arizona, I'll be honest. Jalen Hurts is a very fun quarterback. And I like what he does. I do. He's fun. A lot of what I like is I think he's very fun. I think he's very energetic. But to sit there and say, he's already going to claim the starter's job, that's a stretch. And you and I talked about that a little bit. You know, I texted you that because I was just excited about all the creative plays, not because I'm sitting here saying, he's my long-term guy. But Bryce, that bad man, Kyler Murray showed up, baby. 400 yards in the passing game, despite the interception.
DeAndre Hopkins.
And but here's again. You know what though, Bryce? Prove it again. Because you're against Philly, which Philly has been lousy in the secondary. Lousy. They've been totally lousy all season. And DeAndre's good enough to do this every week. All right. I'm not. But I want Kyler to do it again. Do it again. Do it again against the Niners at home and stick it to their guts against a division rival at home. Do it again. Because I'll tell you, Bryce, you and I know that this offense can fly. And the other thing that I really think is not being talked about enough, and I want to make sure that I'm clear with this. I'm not saying they're a top 5 unit. I'm not even saying they're a top 10 unit, but the defense has really improved. You and I have been sitting there really thinking about, oh crap, Chandler Jones is out of the picture. How are they going to produce? Bryce, they've finally gotten Simmons to rise to the occasion, which you and I talked about from the very beginning. That was the key. Jordan Hicks looked very good in this game. The coverage of Arizona, I think, is very good. I really like Peterson, and I really like Kirkpatrick. Buda Baker and Murphy are fantastic. Bryce, this is a win to me that does not it only just makes me want more. Just give me more. Just give me another game, because the Eagles are not good. They're not good. And I'd like to see them do it against the Niners team, which I understand the Niners are out of the playoff contention, but just prove it to me that you can do it consecutive weeks. It's not a matter of who the competition is, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. It wasn't a pretty win. Here's always the tough thing, and people are, for people that might listen to this, they're like, okay, calm down, but no, this is legit. When you go in and you face a team that with a quarterback that you have no tape on, it's incredibly dangerous. I don't care who it is.
Yeah, I agree.
And you barely have any tape on Jalen Hurts, right? He's played for a couple weeks now. And this is the kind of game that I expect out of Jalen Hurts, right? He's going to keep the team in the game. The team's going to play inspired, right?
Yep.
Arizona weather the storm. Kyler Murray does not look hurt, like you said. DeAndre Hopkins basically had a vintage DeAndre Hopkins game. Did you see the touchdown grab he had? Oh, ridiculous.
Ridiculous, Bryce.
Oh, my goodness. And that's why you trade for a guy like that. Anybody that traded for a wide receiver this season, or a legitimate wide receiver, is seeing dividends. Buffalo, Stephon Diggs, Arizona, DeAndre Hopkins, Minnesota gets Justin Jefferson in the draft pick they got for the Stephon Diggs trade.
Bingo. Yep.
Right? It matters. People are like, oh, wide receivers, they don't really matter. No, they matter. They really do. They matter so much in this game. The only thing that I'd like to see is if Arizona can get more from their run game. They still have Chase Edmonds, Kenyon Drake punch going on. Chase Edmonds got out-carried Kenyon Drake this game, but obviously they didn't need it because Kyler Murray is just going off, right? Yeah. Arizona should dominate San Francisco next weekend. They should.
I'm excited to see that.
If they lose that game, they're in big trouble. They're in big trouble. But Arizona, and if we're talking in terms of the playoff picture here, Caleb Lynn,
sure,
Arizona could potentially move up to the 6th seed and play Seattle. I think we're going to talk about Tampa Bay here pretty soon, Caleb, something makes me very angry about Tampa Bay and the way this is going to shake out. I will talk to you about it, but Arizona could be a sneaky team if they rattle off this one. They cannot lose to San Francisco. They need
they can't.
They should win, and they better win.
They should.
Period.
Totally agree. Next up, Seattle and Washington, same division. Seattle comes out of the win 20-15, and Bryce, Dwayne Haskins epically failed, and it doesn't look very good for him. But we'll talk about it from Seattle's perspective before getting into Washington's. Once again,
not
stale.
Yeah, but that's how good Washington's defense is, though.
Okay, but come on. Okay, they have a D-line, elite D-line. Tell me a guy. Tell me a corner. Tell me a corner on them. Tell me a corner. You're going to tell me Ronald Darby is going to guard. You can really, honestly, take out DK Metcalf, which he basically did. I mean, I understand DK was injured, but come on. I mean,
where's he been the past couple of weeks, Caleb? I need to put an APB out for DK Metcalf. Where you been?
A heck of a question.
I'm calling him out.
You're going to call him out? Oh, well, I mean, he had 8 for 61 against the Jets, and then 6 for 43. But you're wanting 100. You want 100?
Yeah. There should be. Fair. I mean, there should be no reason why you're getting 80 to 100 yards a game.
I agree, but I am worried though against the Rams because of their corner duo. But anyway, I think with the Seahawks, here's what I'm encouraged by. It was ugly. Russell didn't play well again, which you and I have been saying that he's been really on the downfall. The defense played pretty well. I mean, I understand it was Washington, but they did.
Yes.
That's a very
Washington
encouraging thing.
A decent O-line. Decent. Not
they
great.
Do, but the quarterback plays not great. I mean, but at the same time.
Hey, they got 4 sacks.
They did.
4 sacks is good. I mean, that's what you want to see out of Seattle. Seattle's going to be one of those teams that you're going to, if you play them in the playoffs, you're going to have to grind for a win. Good luck. Good luck.
I agree.
And I mean, Russell Wilson is a winner, period. I don't care what his stats say right now. He is a winner.
I agree. Period. And Bryce, the other thing that's got to be for any Legion of Boom guy and really any fan, girl, any fan, Chris Carson, 15 of 63. Bryce, I am very encouraged by the fact that they're starting to get him and they're starting to ground and pound it. I'm sick and tired of the 2-by committee. He's your guy. Get him the ball. The difference should be big. It was big. 15 to 63. Hard. I don't even know if I would count. Hyde got it in one run.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's a big run though. That's what you need. You need those guys. If you're going to bring in a running back too, like Carlos Hyde or now Rashad Penny. Rashad Penny's back now.
Get off Rashad Penny.
Oh, come on. You don't like Rashad Penny? Oh, come on. Caleb. I disagree with that. But if you can
talk about a fantasy bust, total.
All right, listen here. He's missed the entire season so far. So here's the thing. Well, listen to this, Caleb. What if you can keep these running backs fresh for the playoffs? You have 3 guys. I mean, Carson's your main guy, right?
Rashad Penny will snap an ankle by the first carry.
Look. Hey, I hope Rashad Penny figures it out, man. Like, I like Rashad Penny. I think.
Okay, but he was overrated. He was picked too high. He was overrated.
Come on.
Overrated.
But look, I think it's going to be very vital when you get into the playoffs. Super vital, and then you can let Russ do his thing.
Rashad Penny ain't going to be vital. He ain't going to be.
That's fine. Whatever, man. Whatever. What about Washington? Let's talk some Washington.
Let's talk Washington. I don't want to get into Penny. Oh my gosh, Bryce. Look, when it comes to it's so bad. When it comes to Washington, I mean, obviously a loss puts them in a bad spot for potentially getting in a division, even though the NFC East is so bad. So, Bryce, I want to ask you this. Haskins sucked. They needed Gibson. McLaurin needs to be at 100 yards to win every game. Am I wrong?
Nope.
I think that's the summary of their offense. I should not be seeing Logan Thomas.
Look, Logan Thomas has been decent this year.
He sucks. I'm not buying on Logan Thomas.
Come
on. I'm not buying on Logan Thomas. There's nothing to buy into. Bryce, Logan Thomas, 29 years old. Honestly, Bryce, he's just cute. The fact of the matter is that Washington, Logan Thomas is one of those those stories that you sit and you read a feature and you sit there and you're like, wow, what an adorable story. Yet he sucks on the field. Well, the problem with Thomas is you cannot be getting this type of game from him. It's embarrassing. He's even their second best passing option. Washington has a problem and has had a problem all year. They actually need McKissick to be their second best passing option. He is their second best passing option. So get him the ball. As far as I'm concerned, this is a game that really is summarized by you need Gibson back and you need McLaurin at 100 yards.
Yep. No, I agree. I mean, the thing about Washington is they caught a break this week, right? They caught a break with the Giants losing, which we'll talk about later. The Cowboys got a win, which, puts them dead even with the Giants. But, I mean, Washington lucked out. They have Carolina and they have Philadelphia left, which are both very winnable games. But they're also very losable games.
Sure they are.
So I think that's going to be interesting. That division, that's another division to watch to see who's going to come out of there, right? You're only going to get one team out of there, right?
No question.
So, but now I feel like it's a 3-team race.
Yeah,
it's a 3-team because you have the Giants and the Cowboys 1 game back of Washington. They got to win these last 2 games if they want to play in the playoffs.
That's fair. Next up is the big gauntlet, the game that everybody kept an eye on, the Chiefs and the Saints. And Bryce, I'd like to get your thoughts on this one first before I get mine in. Score was clarified. Score was 32 Chiefs, 29 Saints. Continue.
I think if Drew Brees didn't have such an awful start, I think the Saints might have been able to pull this game off. I don't know if Drew Brees should have played in this game. I understand the sense of urgency, in the seeding and things like that. But boy, Brees looked awful in the first.
Okay.
But no Michael Thomas.
11 ribs.
Right. 11. No, I totally agree, Caleb. But that's what I'm saying. Rest him. Fine. I'll give him a pass. But Caleb, where was Latavius Murray? Why didn't you give him the ball more?
Yeah, that's weird. That's weird. I agree.
No Michael Thomas, obviously that hurts, right?
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes, Caleb, we've been saying it all season. Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. He had the bad game last week, but Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. He just is. He played a clean game. And Caleb, we're still seeing plays that we've never seen before. Did you see that flip out to Kelsey at the goal line?
It was good.
What is that?
It was the clever. It was very clever.
I'm 22 years old. I haven't watched as much football as some of these other guys.
Yeah, here you go. You're feeding.
Never seen anything like that.
You're feeding into it. You're feeding into it.
Prayers up to CEH though. Hey, Le'Veon Bell's got his window now. But he better make the most of it.
Yeah,
do something. Show me something, Le'Veon Bell. Don't show me that you're a bum.
He's not a bum. 62 yards and a touchdown was very good, and that's encouraging for the Chiefs. But my gosh, Bryce, you're going to hate what I have to say. Oh my gosh. This game did jack squat for me when it comes to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, come on.
I come out of this game thinking that we just sit there and give Patrick Mahomes too much PR. The fact of the matter is the Chiefs are a ridiculous – this is an issue, Bryce. We're just sitting here glossing over Patrick Mahomes. Oh, he's so great. He's so fantastic. Yada, yada, yada. When he's getting average offensive line play, he's getting average defensive play. They're lucky as crap that Brees had punctured ribs, not to mention the fact that Michael Thomas wasn't there.
Oh my gosh.
They didn't. The Saints scheme played out perfectly. I'm sorry that we want to glass it up on Patrick Mahomes and act like he's just absolutely on top of the world. He's got an offensive line that's absolutely garbage. He is nothing. He is nothing. Right? This is
time out. Do the Saints have a good defense or not?
Yeah.
We've been praising him all year. He put up 32 on them.
Okay, and cry me a river that they don't have Drew Brees, that they don't have Drew Brees healthy, and you know it, and they don't have Michael Thomas. Bryce, the secondary of the Chiefs suck, and everybody wants to gloss it over because simply, they just had a great game from Snead.
Look, okay, Kansas City's still the best team in the league.
No, here you go. You're sipping into.
That's the truth.
Honestly, you're sipping into it. You're sipping the Kool-Aid.
The problem with
the Chiefs is they aren't as unbeatable as the media wants them to be.
No,
they're getting glossened. They're getting glossened. You're kissing up to them. You're kissing up to them.
The Patrick Mahomes legend grows and grows every week.
No, every week. Honestly, you're a part of the culture. You're a part of the problem.
Oh,
Mahomes is great. He's great.
Oh,
he's an amazing quarterback. In fact, he's the best quarterback in the league.
Probably the best quarterback ever already.
Let's 3 seasons. Let's evaluate the facts. Let's evaluate the facts. The facts indicate the fact, and you got to look at the way that this game was being played. This offensive line is a problem. They could not stop the 4-man rush. Bryce, there are problems with the 4-man rush. In fact, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, a lot of teams could take advantage of this 4-man rush type of pass because the Chiefs' offensive line is rusty. It's garbage. And I understand that Mitchell Schwartz is not there, but the offensive line is not playing good. They're going to need Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I think Le'Veon Bell is good, but I don't know if he's going to be able to contain and give you that full volume. And the Chiefs were not able to separate. The Saints put out the perfect game plan. The Saints put out the perfect game plan. They went too high safety.
Oh yeah, it was so good that Patrick Mahomes had 250 yards and 3 touchdowns. It was so amazing.
And
it was so amazing.
He got sacked 4 times. Okay. And this is a team that, hear me out, Bryce. This is we would have glossed in the Chiefs. And here's the thing. Big win. I get it. But at the same time, we all talk positive about the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And there's no negative on the Chiefs. And that's where I'm coming from, Bryce.
All right, so
there's no negatives.
Picking the Chiefs to make the Super Bowl or not?
Am I?
Are you?
A gun to my head right now, yes. But can I tell you something? Can I tell you something?
What?
They're made out to be unbeatable, and they're not.
They are.
No, they're not. No, they're here's the thing, Bryce. Here's the thing. I'm about to get on. You're actually going to like this take. Here's the thing. There's a couple teams in the league that can rush with 4, and they're going to have success with it because the Chiefs don't have an offensive line. The Colts are one of those teams. The Steelers are one of those teams. I think the key is, even though Dupree's out, I believe in their pressure. I believe in their scheme, Bryce. And I also think that if Baltimore makes the playoffs, I believe in their scheme and I believe in their defense. There are multiple teams that can rush with. I understand rushing with 4 is hard, okay? But there are teams that can do it, and there are defenses that can do it. Bryce, the Saints implemented a plan that, in my opinion, really worked. Drew Brees, even 85%, 90% himself, wins the ball game. I think this is a team that we are sitting here respectfully talking about how great their record is, how they're the best, how they're probably the best team in the league. But I just think there's a lot to look at besides just, here we go, simping on them for a win. That's all.
No, whatever.
That's all.
Give me Kansas City. They're 13-1.
I understand that, Bryce. I'm not hating on the fact that they're 13-1. I'm not hating on their actual team. All I'm doing is bringing up the negatives. I'm sorry that all you want to do is kiss up to them.
Whatever.
Next up is the Chargers and the Raiders. And the Raiders come out of this game thinking that they got a easy, smooth one. And all they did was just basically kiss it to the Chargers. Bryce, I ran it on it with Gruden. You got any thoughts on this?
Yeah. So people would be, I think some folks, probably the Raider Nation, they'll probably say, oh, look, Derek Carr pulled his groin right at the beginning of the game. That's why we lost. No.
That's why he signed Mariota, actually.
No, and you know what? Marcus Mariota played brilliantly, Caleb.
Yeah, he did.
I was impressed by what I saw from Marcus Mariota.
Sure.
He had the pick. All right, fine. Look, it happens. I think Derek Carr might have made the same play sometime in the game.
I'm not going to Derek Carr, though.
No, I like Derek Carr. I really do like Derek Carr. I like him a lot. I do. Marcus Mariota played phenomenally, though. I'm not mad at all. And you know what? Darren Waller did Darren Waller things. Caleb, I gotta help but think about something, right? And I think
get off Aguilar, by the way. Get off Aguilar. Sell a stock.
All right, whatever. But I want to run this past you, and I've said it before in the season. Would this season be different if Tyrell Williams didn't get hurt before the season started?
For the Raiders?
Would the Vegas offense be better? You know, would you have a better complement for Ruggs and Aguilar and Renfro if you had, you know, a top guy like Tyrell Williams? And plus you have Waller.
This is a really weird answer, but I would honestly say no. And the reason for that is not because I don't think Tyrell Williams is not a good player. I think he's good, but I don't think the development of Aguilar happens. I certainly don't think Renfro gets the same amount of snaps. And I just think I just don't see how they could effectively use the receivers like they have this season. My concern, even though I don't really think that Tyrell Williams is all that good, in fact, I don't think he's even close to what he's getting paid. I think the Raiders are a team that honestly would low-key needs to move on. They've got a good set of guys right now. And a part of me doesn't think that Tyrell would really help, but instead create a logjam. And that's not what the Raiders need right now. The Raiders have the offensive pieces, which you and I have mentioned. It's one of the reasons you and I have liked this team. They have a really good offensive line. They have a really good running back. Heck, they have a top 10 running back.
Didn't play very well this game, though.
Yeah, I don't know. 76 yards and a touchdown, that's not bad. 26 carries, that's not bad.
Yeah.
I just think the Raiders are – it's disappointing. It's disappointing. You want to make Gruden your coach, and this is why you want him as your coach, that you can finish the season strong and get to the playoffs. And he didn't do that this season. Really sad.
No, they're not doing it.
Really sad. Next up is the Sunday night game, Bryce, and it's Cleveland and the Giants. And because I had you start the last one, I'll do this one. The Browns won 20-6, and I'm about to tell. Oh my gosh, Bryce, I feel like I have to apologize again. I did it again, because I just don't feel like I've actually given credit to where credit's due still. I mean, it's embarrassing. It's the worst take I made this season. Look, Baker Mayfield is just slinging the crap out of the ball. I mean, how many quarterbacks are you taking before this man? Right now, how many? He is sizzling, Bryce. 27 of 32, 297 yards and 2 touchdowns. Now, I will say there was an interesting stat on the broadcast that suggested that Baker Mayfield is significantly better when he has no pressure and under play action. But when he's under pressure, he's not even close to as good. That's a problem. And that's a big issue I have. But at the same time, I give players credit when they play really well. Baker Mayfield has shut up every hater. They're really figuring it out with him. Stefanski's done that. And you and I have mentioned that. Chubb, I don't even think Chubb had the greatest game, but it was a valuable game. Yeah. Kareem Hunt, not the greatest game. I do think you'll see more. I'm not concerned.
Yeah, I'm not either.
What I like, Bryson, I'm going to give you credit on this. You called this when Odell was hurt. You said, I think it's a big deal that Odell's hurt, but I think Higgins could potentially be a nice step-up piece. That's exactly what he's done.
The past couple of weeks, yes.
Very good player the last couple of weeks. Peoples-Jones has stepped up. Bryce, they really got all of their personnel going. And another thing to talk about with their defense, and then I'll let you take it away. I am very encouraged by the way that unit is playing. Despite the second level not being what you want, they're getting extremely good production from players like Carl Joseph. They're getting really good production from B.J. Goodson. They're getting production from guys like Olivier Vernon, who people didn't really know would work out in that deal that they tried to make earlier for Zeitler. Look, the Browns are figuring it out. And they said it on the broadcast, and I'm just going to echo it because I just think it's true. The Browns have ultimately decided we're going to run our defense based off the best players we freaking have. Myles Garrett, Sheldon Richardson, and Denzel Ward. We're going to rush with our line, and we're not going to give a rap. And then we're going to literally have nobody on Denzel Ward's side because Denzel Ward is that freaking good. He's just going to blanket everybody. The Browns did what I think makes them dangerous, which is played really good defense, and they got some flow. And to me, take it to the pound. Take it to the pound, Bryce. Take it to the pound. Because they took a defense that you and I like and put them to freaking school.
Yep. And we had talked about, Denzel Ward. Now, Denzel Ward has had some injury issues recently.
Baller, total baller.
Yeah, we talked about it, and Caleb, when we did our previews before the season started, right?
Freaking baller.
You called him out. You questioned him. Hey, are you going to be that good?
Yeah,
what are you going to do?
Yeah, he did, baby. He answered the question. He came with the heat.
He was back
baby.
this week, and he's going to be huge going into the playoffs. But Caleb, so here's my thing.
Go ahead.
Again, we've been praising Baker Mayfield. No, I'm not. We've been praising Baker Mayfield. We've been praising Kevin Stefanski for what he's been doing and what he's unleashed.
Yeah.
Caleb, I want to talk a little playoff picture here with you.
Sure.
So Cleveland is sitting at 10-4, currently in the 5 seed.
That's pretty.
We're going to talk about the Monday night game. But Caleb, Cleveland has a chance at a division title.
Ooh, baby.
And a home playoff game.
Well, we're getting into it. We're close.
So here's the thing. So Cleveland, guess who Cleveland plays next week?
Give it to me, Bryce. Come on.
The New York Jets.
The New York Jets. One win, New York Jets.
A win for Cleveland.
You think the Browns are going to punch them out?
Yes.
Now,
Pittsburgh plays my boys, Indianapolis.
That is
if
big.
Pittsburgh win or loses, Cleveland. Well, Pittsburgh still has the tiebreaker.
Sure.
And guess who plays Week 17?
Baby.
Cleveland and Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
baby,
I know what you're about to say.
for the division. Woo! Oh, I need Indianapolis to win. I just not just because I want the Colts to win because those are my boys because I do want them to win, right? But I hope Pittsburgh loses and we have a playoff.
Are you saying
we have a division?
You want a division title on the line?
I want a division title on the line.
You want the smoke?
Because first, here's a couple of reasons why. One, I want to see what Cleveland can do because they got annihilated by the Steelers at the beginning of the season. Right?
Yes.
Also, Cleveland needs to win the division title because I'll tell you what, they don't want to face Indianapolis in the playoffs because I think it'll be different this time, especially with Baker Mayfield under duress. I think that they would rather face like a Tennessee team
with no defensive line pressure.
Exactly. So we'll see how this is going to play out.
Very good
we'll
point.
give you all the breakdown here in a couple weeks once we get everything set.
Heck yeah, baby. Heck yeah.
This all hinges. Cleveland is rooting for Pittsburgh to lose next week. They just need to take care of business against the Jets, which I think they will. I think Kevin Stefanski is going to have his guys focused. He's had his guys focused the past few weeks.
Oh, yeah, baby.
So I don't think that they're on upset alert, in my opinion, Caleb. No. I don't think there's going to be any issues.
That's fair. Next up, total shocker. The Bengals, 27-17 win over the Steelers.
Oh, boy.
Honestly, I don't even know. To be honest, I don't even know if there's much to talk about with the Bengals because I think it literally all has to do with the Steelers. So, Bryce, I'll just let you start this off. I mean, what do you see? What do you see?
What I saw was Pittsburgh turn the ball over, 3 times?
Yes.
Two times in the first quarter. And you know what, Caleb? Here's a couple points.
Sure.
Juju came out before the game, dancing on the logo. He got annihilated by my boy Von Bell. Okay.
That gets overrated.
All right, just annihilated. All right, and honestly, kind of set the tone for the rest of the game. I mean, just annihilated Juju Smith-Schuster in the middle of the field. But But I mean, here's the more shocking thing, Caleb.
Sure.
Cincinnati scored 27 points, and Ryan Finley only had to throw the ball 13 times.
Yeah, that's a problem.
If you're Cincinnati, like, you're not even mad about that. You're like,
no, you're not.
Let's take that.
You're probably confused.
Big Ben played awful. I don't know what was going. They have lost 3 in a row, Caleb, since starting 11-0. And this is probably the worst loss out of all. We thought the Washington loss was bad. I expected them to lose to Buffalo, right?
Sure.
But to lose to Cincinnati is bad. And Caleb, you know what scares me though is that Pittsburgh is going to come out with a chip on their shoulder against my boys.
I was about to,
Indy,
yeah,
which is scary for me.
I know. You're getting a little panicked. The blanket's coming out for you.
All right, one more point though, Caleb.
Go ahead.
We have a new number 2 seed in the AFC. The Buffalo Bills have now taken the number 2 seed over.
Bryce, you say they suck. Why are you sitting there acting all pretty about the Bills? Why are you sitting there acting all pretty?
I'm giving the listeners. I'm informing them. I'm informing them. Look, I said the Buffalo Bills have played well.
They looked red hot on Saturday. Come on.
All right, calm down. They played the Broncos. Calm down.
Oh, they scored 40 plus.
Calm down. Calm down. I'm not ready to go there yet.
You haven't been ready to go there all yet because you hate talent. No, I'll speak this. When it comes to the Bengals and the Steelers, I'll make some points. Bryce, I am sick and tired of quarterbacks blaming their wide receivers for sucking when the quarterback sucks.
Oh, no. Caleb, don't do that. All right, fine. I'll listen to you, but this is ridiculous. Sorry, listeners.
Because, here's your problem. You're going to sit there and you're going to say, oh, well, Deontay Johnson's dropping stuff. Claypool's dropping stuff. Juju's not making enough plays. Yada, yada, yada. And all you do, Bryce, is talk about this stuff. You go to the receivers and you say, you're going to play football? Are you even wanting to play on the field? And then all you do is go for 20 of 38, 170 yards, and a touchdown against a horrible defense that you and I have mentioned multiple times. Bryce, I am sorry. If you call out people like that, be better. Be better. Be better. Be better. Big Ben should be better, Bryce. You can't sit here with a lick and tell me right now that Big Ben played a good football game. Big Ben came out of this game hot garbage.
I'm not ready to go there.
He played garbage.
Look, he didn't have the greatest game. I'm giving him a pass.
How are you going to give him a pass against the Bengals?
I'm giving him a pass.
It's the Bengals. It's the Bengals.
Look, I don't know what they're doing on offense, Caleb. I don't feel like they have a direction. They don't going. You think
they're not trying to get Big Ben involved offensively? You don't think he's involved in the play calls?
I don't think they have an identity.
Oh my God! And that's on Ben. That's
no,
on
it's
Ben.
Not.
That's on Ben.
That's on Randy Fichtner. That's on Randy Fichtner, and you know it.
Oh.
They have no identity. Caleb, what's the run game?
It's not there. It doesn't exist. Shout out Benny Snell, though. Shout out Benny Snell. He got me to a fantasy championship. Shout out Benny Snell, baby.
Tough break for my boys, Zach Griffith. Shout out. You couldn't get it. Sorry, that was tough.
That was tough. But no, look, he actually gave them a sign of life. But no, I agree that the running game is a problem. But Bryce, if you're the quarterback and you call out your receivers, step up and give them balls. Step up and give them the balls. Give them accuracy. Give it to them in accurate places, Bryce. That's all I'm saying. You're going to call them out. Fine, you do your job. You do your job. That's a trade. It's a mutual trade, Bryce. Come on. You can't sit there and go all pretty eye on Big Ben and then call out the receivers the next week.
I'll do it.
Because come on, Bryce. Here's the thing, Bryce. You ride the Colts secondary coattails. So when you talk about the Colts secondary, do you think Big Ben is going to be able to play the way he did against the Colts? I'll answer that for you. No. And the problem with that is you're going to need him to be better. You're going to need him to be better.
Are you picking the Colts to win next week?
Heck yeah, I'm picking them next week. You freaking serious? I'm taking the Colts to win next week, and I'm taking with the confidence because Big Ben is acting like he's the big show, and in total reality, he's got to be better.
Okay, fair enough.
Ridiculous, Bryce. You got to sit there and watch that freaking game. Next up, New England and Miami. And, Bryce, you and I have been sitting here on Miami just looking at the fact that we feel like it's about to just honestly rumble and tumble. But somehow they're continuing to fight along. And it's a props to really everybody they got. Flores has been outstanding. Their offense has been good. But once again, I want to make it clear. It's the defense that makes them what they are. They held the Patriots to 12 points.
Just Bryce, hard.
Okay, right. But I'm saying your defense played well. Your defense got to them. Your defense put pressure on them. Your defense forces them to 12 points. Only issue may be Jacoby Myers still getting 111 yards on you. But they forced 3 fumbles, and I just, Bryce, to me, like it is going to be very interesting at the end of the year to see what happens with Miami. No Gaskin this week, no Parker this week, no Jakeem Grant this week.
Jakeem Grant, right?
No Gesicki this week, and they still pull out a win. I mean, this is a very, very impressive win, despite what you and I think of how trashy the Pats offense is.
Right. Well, and it's a pivotal win, Caleb, because
it really is.
Now they're staving off the Baltimore Ravens, who have the exact same record as Miami.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The thing is,
they're so hot. They're hotter than red pepper.
Right. Can Miami sustain this? Right. So they have Oakland and Buffalo left on their schedule.
Yeah.
Very, very, very tough teams. Right. While the Ravens have almost a cupcake schedule.
Bingo.
Left. Right. Yep. They have the Giants and Cincinnati.
Bingo.
Right. So I look, my money's still on the Ravens to make the playoffs. Unfortunately,
you've been riding them.
What Miami has done has been nothing but overachieving at best for what they've done. Right. I mean, look at this. They're 9-5. They've had injury. They switched quarterbacks midseason for almost no reason. I don't know.
I can't deny that one, but you can't sit here. Okay, the cute narrative of the Dolphins, let's just get past this. It's a good football team. You're 9-5. You're contending. You're playing your tails off. You have a top-level defense. You're getting play from players that they've risen. They've been these under-the-radar gems, Bryce. You're paying attention to the game. Now you're seeing them turn into stars, right? You're seeing Jerome Baker turn into a star. Bryce, I feel like I've been riding him more than you have, and you're an Ohio State guy.
I know.
You got Jones, who's legit. You have Xavier Howard, who's legit. You got Kyle Van Noy, who came back this week. Ogba's been huge for them. Shaq Lawson's been a great piece for them. This defense can compete. It ain't a luck shot that this defense is coming in and competing like this. That ain't luck. The offense, you can maybe say, is some luck due to the situations, injuries, and how guys have continued to step up. But that's coaching. That's a staff, and that's coaching. Mm-hmm. And part of me doesn't feel like that goes away. You face a Raiders team who's basically lost. I think they can beat the Raiders. I'm very confident that they're going to beat the Raiders this week. The only issue for me is week 17 against the Bills. And I understand that that's going to be a tough one. But if the Bills can find a way to clinch the number 2, Bryce, maybe they don't have to compete in week 17. Maybe Miami can come in and cruise. I think the idea of this, they're just a cute story. You're week 15. You're in the hunt for a playoff. There ain't no cute story. You're a good football team. Yep. Next up, Chicago and Minnesota. Bryce, you and I liked Minnesota. We thought they had an identity, but Kirk Cousins stepped in and ruined it for us. The Bears came in and beat them 33-27. And honestly, I'm not going to. They're fine. They're there. Congrats, 7-7. Montgomery. Which feels like Bears fans have basically called him their savior.
You know what? It comes out and gives him out, though. He's played well ever since I called him a bum.
He has. And you and I haven't talked a whole lot of Bears recently. Part of it just because they haven't played a whole lot of games that have really had genuine meaning. But you and I have always said, the Bears have a good defense and they're going to keep you in every game. The offense, it needed creativity. And, here's the thing. Really all they've done, something I watched today and something I was thinking about, all they've really done is just add jet motion. I was watching it today. I heard a podcast talk about it. Literally, Bryce, I listened to a podcast. I said, wow. I go in and I look for those plays. I sit there and I watch it. That's literally all they did. They added something that most teams in the modern NFL know. But yet they just decided, oh, hey, we're going to add this because our offense is boring. And Matt Nagy realizes that this offense isn't the Chiefs' offense. So, Bryce, I want to ask you this. How real are they going to get the 7th spot? Are they going to get the 7th spot? Or do you believe that there's a chance that not even a chance, or do you believe that the 7 teams will stay the same, but maybe in different seats? It's tricky.
I would really like to say Arizona is going to make it, right? I mean,
right.
Arizona plays San Francisco and the Rams, right?
Right.
They're both winnable games.
Sure.
But they're also losable games, right?
Yeah.
Chicago has Jacksonville, and they have the Packers, who right now the Packers are sitting in the number 1 seed now due to New Orleans' loss, right? New Orleans is now 10-4. The Packers are 11-3. The Packers still have stuff to play for, right? New Orleans is right on their tail. Packers have a tough game this week with Tennessee on Sunday Night Football.
That's a freaking massive one.
Sunday Night Football is going to be a great game, Caleb. Can't wait to watch that.
So insanely massive.
I'm going to go ahead and say that the 7 teams stay the same. I don't think Chicago gets in.
Not to say you can't trust Mitch Trubisky now, but come on.
I can't do it. I'd be shocked if Chicago gets in. It'd be a miracle if Chicago gets in. A miracle, Caleb. Miracle.
Well, honestly, probably would be the offense that gets them in because that's what they've needed to improve.
Yeah, Mooney and Montgomery have both shown up the past.
Mooney, Montgomery, and obviously Robinson is Dennis.
Yeah, Robinson has been Robinson. Yeah,
right. The Bears, really, the entire issue has just been getting points up on the board. They're finally getting points up, but honestly, I don't see the chances of them sliding into the 7. And to be honest, it's tricky. It's tricky, and I'm not buying into that. But, Bryce, there are teams that we have not talked about that I want to get into in our playoff segment. And I want to start off by Tampa because this was a game that I had a tough time cutting, Bryce, because not because we all expected Tampa to win this game, but it was the fact that they did it the way they did it. They did it by coming back in the second half. And with all due respect, it is the Falcons. And I understand the Falcons have a tendency to let go of leads. But, Bryce, especially to me, that needs to be ignored. That needs to be ignored in this particular sequence. Because, Bryce, this is what we have been basically hoping, questioning, wanting answers on. Can they be down? And can the explosiveness overcome? Can the explosiveness of the talent around them overcome them for a win? The answer is yes, they did. They did. I'm not saying it's a yes for a long time, but they did it in this game. And I think there's a lot to look forward to, despite the fact that you didn't have Ronald Jones, despite the fact that you weren't getting a great game from Gronkowski. But there's a lot to look for from the receivers that I think was encouraging. And to be honest with you, Bryce, I think the defense looked really freaking good in the second half. And I think we forget that because of all of the big names. But, Bryce, I'm just thinking off the top of my head here. Is there any duo at linebacker that you would rather have between, when you got a guy like Devin White and you got a guy like Levante David, who is just, the two of them are playing very good football. They're getting really good help they're not getting great help from the D-line, but the secondary has been stepping up since the horrible Chiefs game.
Yeah, there is some linebackers I'd rather have. Darius Leonard and Anthony Walker, baby. That's who I'd rather have, Caleb. Disrespect them.
No, it's
some respect on their name.
They're in the conversation.
They are at the top of the conversation.
They're in
the top.
They're in it. Both of them. Both Devin White and Levante David and Darius Leonard and Anthony Walker.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Look.
You call them 1A, 1B. I don't care.
Look, here's what I like about the Buccaneers is that they did a whole lot. They're starting to use Mike Evans not just as a red zone guy. It's
right.
Why don't you get the ball to this guy because he's really freaking good, right? 6 receptions for 110 yards. That's what I expect out of Mike Evans pretty much every week, Caleb. Period.
Are you telling me that Mike Evans is a good receiver and Tampa actually knows it now? Oh my gosh, what a new finding.
Yeah. And look, it opened things up for Antonio Brown to go deep and catch a touchdown.
Did Byron Leftwich just recognize this on an exam? Did he get
Dude, I don't know.
on this recently?
I don't know. But Caleb, and they did it without Ronald Jones, right? Which is good in and of itself, right?
Yeah, that was good.
You know what drives me nuts though?
Oh, go ahead.
Drives me freaking nuts is that that Tampa Bay could potentially snag the 5 seed, and then they get off easy. They would have to play the NFC East winner in the playoffs, and they would move on.
Okay, but let me ask you this: any team that would face the NFC East is going to get it easy.
But doesn't it? But Tampa Bay doesn't deserve an easy playoff.
Okay.
They don't deserve it the way they've played this season. The mess that they've made. I get that they're 9-5. This is stupid. And of course,
who would you rather see? Would you rather see the Rams get to the 5 seed? Would you rather see the Rams?
Yeah, I would actually, because of course it would happen to Tom Brady. So then as soon as the Buccaneers get a playoff win, oh, see, we told you guys the Buccaneers are really, really good. They got a playoff win easily. Stop. I already see it. I can already see it. I like Tom Brady this season, but that's going to drive me nuts because I feel like that's what's going to happen.
That's fair.
And it's nonsense.
It is. It's kind of nonsense.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
He gets let off the hook even though they play below their potential this season. That is ridiculous, Caleb. Just absolutely ridiculous.
All right, Bryce. All right. Next one is Tennessee. Tennessee pounded Detroit. Bryce, you don't like it, but there's a lot to like about the way they're playing on offense, and they're starting. Yeah, and that's why I'm the guy who's the non-biased partisan. Ryan Tannehill is coming in, lighting it up, basically lighting it up the last 2 weeks. He is figuring out something. That is a big sign for Tennessee. He's starting to live up to the paycheck. Derrick Henry's coming in, playing very well, obviously, with the running game the way that it already is. A.J. Brown, Corey Davis, continuing to be a really solid duo, and Tennessee's just going to win. They're going to keep winning. But I think that the encouraging thing for Tennessee moving forward is you're starting to get some really good play from Ryan Tannehill, Bryce.
I don't want to talk about the Titans.
Grow up.
I'm so sick of this. You know what?
Grow up.
You know what? I hope they lose to Green Bay and we take the division back. I hope they lose. I hope Deshaun
You're
Watson
so incredibly biased. It's ridiculous.
I hope Deshaun Watson goes out with a bang and just beats.
I'm moving on.
This would be incredible.
You're absolutely being absurd.
I bet they lose to Cleveland.
You're being absurd.
I bet they lose to Cleveland in the playoffs.
They might, but you're being absurd right now because you're not even wanting to talk about them. The next team up is the Packers. Packers came in, they beat Carolina. The Packers actually jump up and they take the number 1 seed. I don't know. Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers, looking like an MVP. It seems like they're just starting to really click. I mean, you and I have really touched on this. I don't think there is an insane amount to go over outside of just Aaron Rodgers was Aaron Rodgers, and the Packers are really starting to figure it out on all facets. Now, I will say Adams didn't have that great game that you would expect, but they controlled it throughout the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, they've done what they've done all season, right? I mean, Aaron Jones had a great game running the football. I think you're going to see the Packers signed Tavon Austin recently. I think they're going to start to implement him a little bit more. And that could be dangerous. I mean, that's just another thing to put in the back pocket for them in the playoffs. Tunion's been solid all season.
He's a touchdown guy.
I mean, sure. Sure. I mean,
let's get over Tanya.
He's a legit red zone threat, though, Caleb.
Yeah,
I mean, you have to worry about him.
I agree. He's a legit red zone threat, but I mean, like, if you're ranking tight ends, that's what I mean.
No, that's fine. That's fine, Caleb. I'm not saying he's a top 5 tight end in the league. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying he's been solid for them. You know, Aaron Rodgers trusts him, which is, which to get Aaron Rodgers' trust, I mean, is like a gold mine, right? You're going to see the ball go your way a bunch. You're gonna score touchdowns a lot, right? I mean, the only thing, Caleb, we've talked about it all season is, what Green Bay defense are we gonna get?
Yeah,
and that's what matters, And if you have a solid defense, that can get pressure on Aaron Rodgers and stifle Devontae Adams, you got a chance to win the football game.
You definitely do.
Right? I mean, the Colts, my Colts were able to pull out a win against them, Caleb.
Yeah. Okay, move on. Next up is the Ravens, who the Colts didn't pull it. The Colts didn't pull that win. And the Ravens came in. And they played Jacksonville, pretty much kicked their tails. The probability, Bryce, and the percentages are very much suggesting Baltimore is making the playoffs.
Yep.
And I'm not willing. I think it's still a very unsure thing. I'm not willing to sit there and just say, I disagree with chances. Honestly, Bryce, I kind of see it more as like a 55 and 45 situation, if I'm being real. I think the percentages don't really indicate how close this is. You know what I'm saying? They're making it seem like it's a total landslide. I don't know. Maybe that's me. But I do think the Ravens are favored and to get in. And they came out and they did exactly what they should do. They kicked a poor team, which the Colts didn't kick, 40-3. And Bryce, here's the thing that I see from this. If you're Baltimore, this was a complete game, and you haven't had that in a while. And the Ravens need to have that, because this is a team just so incredibly desperate to get everything on par. How would I say 40-3, 40-14? The Ravens desperately need a game where it's complete all the way around. They got great games from the receiving offense, like fantastic. And this is and to be honest, Bryce, I can't believe I'm doing this, but you know what I'm going to do right now when talking about the Ravens?
Oh no.
The Ravens are really good because they've actually realized who their best running back is.
Here it comes.
The Ravens have sat there and dealt with old wine, which might taste good, but let's try the thing that's trendy, baby. Ooh. And that's exactly what the Ravens have done. Ooh. They went for the trendy. They went for the Dobbins, and it's about time.
Yeah, baby.
The Ravens were sitting there thinking too reflective on the past. The first time Greg Roman makes a decision, he sits there and says, oh, wait, I'll make a good one this time after screwing it the entire season, and I'm going to make J.K. Dobbins my best back, and I'm not going to make it close. They actually went inactive, healthy on Ingram.
Yeah, Bryce, healthy scratch.
Honestly, this is about time. And when I've watched them play and I've watched J.K. run, I sit there every week and think to myself, when can he get to be the lead back? Please. He did that. It looked good for them.
Yeah, and Caleb, what a matchup we would have if Baltimore gets that 7th seed.
Sure.
They would play Buffalo. What a phenomenal game.
Part of me kind of thinks if the Steelers make the 2 and then they would play, that'd be a little bit more fun. But I do think that's a very good game in all seriousness.
No, yeah. Well, you know what?
Because you want the rivalry again. You want the rivalry again in the postseason.
No. I'm sticking with Buffalo at the 2 spot. They have New England and Miami left on their schedule. I think those are both wins. So I'm not giving Miami. Look, props to Miami. I respect them. I respect their team. Yeah, I'm not giving them any chance to make the playoffs. I am going with the Baltimore Ravens. I think they win out. They go 2-0. I think Miami goes 1-1.
And that's understandable. I will say that. That is understandable. And without further ado, Bryce, that's the conclusion. But before we get to our conclusion, I'd like to make some announcements. Bryce, of what we're going to do for the next couple weeks.
All
Week
right.
17, it will be you and I, but we have some jazz, baby, and we are popping for the playoffs. We are making some real legitimate changes. Starting in week 17, you have the big three, Zach Griffith, Bryce Shadday, and myself, through the entire postseason, all the way until the Super Bowl. We will have week 17. The threesome will all be there. Plus, Bryce, we said, let's make it a party. Let's make it.
Oh, yeah.
Let's make the discussions
we
great.
Go big or go home.
We're going big. Wild card, Bryce. Dylan Hughes is doing wild card. Hughes has been a favorite of ours, and he's definitely going to provide some analysis that'll be appreciated. And then Devin Voss, co-host of the Triple Option podcast, continuing to deliver. We thought of him as being a good option for those two games. We're going for it. Looks like that'll happen. But we'll continue to let you know. And the LynnSanity is always playing something big. Let's just face it. It's what I do. And here's the thing, Bryce. We have this going, and as the season gets concluding, we're going to have a next chapter, Bryce. We are going to have a next chapter. We are unsure of what that chapter will be. The college basketball podcast will continue every other week. But, Bryce, I mean, it's honestly, it's the LynnSanity. You came into the LynnSanity knowing that I like to take risks, and you know that I like to really make a splash.
No, yeah.
So you got it. We're always coming up with something. By the end of the football season, you know, are going to be coming up with some splash for our next chapter.
Absolutely. I can't wait.
Oh, yeah. No doubt about it.
Can't wait.
Shout out Alex Burrow, the production. Shout out the rest of the podcast. The Battleground came out with some episodes 2 weeks ago. I was on 2 weeks ago. Own the crap out of JD Hall. Check that out. Bryce Shadday comes back in and replaces, and goes to his normal chair. He is back at it with JD for, I believe, another podcast that like the week after you did it, right? The week after.
Yes.
And then, so that's available. Zach Griffith continuing his movie podcast. Devin Voss and Ryan Gregory are bringing you the coverage from Conference Championship weekend and the fact that the Bulls were released and Indiana got screwed. And last but not least, we have Alex Burr and Dylan Hughes giving you NBA. So honestly, it's a lot to listen to, but pick and choose what you want to listen to because there's a lot of good content and none of us are going to be hurt on whatever you choose to listen to, whether it's this or anything else. So without ado, Bryce, it's a pleasure to basically own your crease this week. And we'll come back on for the next couple of weeks, and then we got a big party on week 17.
Yeah, but we can't wait.